Hello, Brian Larson, founder of Kingsman, creator of Kingsman Academy. So some of you maybe know there's kind of really three general topics that fascinate me and that I talk about and that I study on a daily basis, and that's our mind, our body, and overall lifestyle. So one of the things I want to touch on today is more overall mindset. It really has to do with moments of just before bed. Have you ever, do you struggle with falling asleep quickly or in a relatively, standard amount of time? Where you lay there with racing thoughts over thoughts of, stressing over about maybe bills that you have to pay, a certain transaction you had with somebody at work or a friend the day before, how you should have said this, you should have done that. All the to-do lists that you have to get done tomorrow. You have to take the kids to school. You have to do laundry. You have to run here, run this errand, run that errand. You have to finish this project. You have this deadline. All these things just racing through your mind that you're playing over, or even, maybe business ideas or a particular project, all these ideas that are floating through your head that you just can't seem to shut off. I've been there. I've struggled. Probably about 3 years ago, I thought I had insomnia, where I could not fall asleep. It would take, hours, 1 to 2 hours of constantly rolling around, and then you're laying there and you start to get pissed off because you can't sleep. And so when you get pissed off, you can't sleep anymore. You start to look at the clock and you're like, oh my God, okay, I got 5 hours I can sleep now. And then you lay there and you look at the clock again. It's like, okay, if I fall asleep right now, I get 4 hours of sleep. And this whole cycle just kind of keeps going through. And what I want to do is I want to touch on some tips that has helped me tremendously to where now, I don't think there's not many times where it takes more than 15 minutes, 20 minutes, unless there's a extreme circumstance where it does. But really what I believe is going on is when you have those racing thoughts going through our heads, is there's a couple things. One is we're playing over all of these events and hypotheticals that are negative. There are things that are stressors or induce stress within us that cause us anxiety, that cause us those feelings of stress. And so it's thinking about all the things. If you go back and you replay in your mind, I want you to just be completely honest. When you're laying there and thinking all these thoughts, are they things that elicit enthusiasm and joy? Or is it like, man, I gotta do this, or I can't believe I'm here in this position in my life. I can't believe that person did this to me. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I don't have, millions of dollars in the bank account. I have such a shitty car. I live in such a shitty place. I have shitty friends. I have a shitty boss. I hate my job. I can't believe I have to get up and go to work again tomorrow. This is just miserable. All these negative events, stories, and future projections of these negative outcomes. And we have to take a moment at some point in our adult lives and realize the negative effect that has on our subconscious. Because if you think that if we're feeding our mind all of this negative crap just before we go to sleep, to think that doesn't have a negative ripple effect throughout the night and how we wake up the next morning is a naive way of thinking. It does. And to be able to take control over our thoughts and just take a moment of step one, the tip is playing and taking control over our mind, realizing that, nobody's injecting these thoughts into my mind other than myself. And to say, well, Brian, you just don't understand. I have so much responsibility. I have all the stress and whatnot. You're still choosing, as a conscious adult, to start generating those thoughts. And you may have some of those thoughts, but you're choosing to intensify those and gravitate towards them. As was I. As I was playing those through there, it's like, okay, you get this negative event in your head, and it's like it just takes you down this rabbit hole, and pretty soon you're in this apocalyptic type situation of your life in the future that's not even going to happen. But the ability to let those thoughts go and let those drift away and realize in that moment, okay, no, I'm going to redirect, and here I'm going to focus on things that it can be as small as things you're grateful for. And replaying a situation, trying to intentionally find something during the day that you enjoyed. It could have been as something as simple as walking by a little kid and he looked at you and giggled and just put a massive smile on you. Or you drive by and there's this dog sticking his head out the window with his tongue hanging out and has that dog face that made you laugh. Could have been somebody saying thank you to you, or simply saying hello. Anything that was memorable that elicits some sort of positivity in you. And number two is simply focusing on the basic things of your life that you're grateful for. And also the vision that you have for a positive outcome in your life. And the vision you have for an anticipation of something that you're excited about that's going to happen to you tomorrow. So rather than playing these figmentations of, oh my God, this is going to happen tomorrow, it's going to suck going into that job, this person's going to act like this, my boss is going to be a dick. Replay it, configure your own fairy tale story of something positive. And many of you may say, that is so woo-woo, that is so hippie, and I thought the same. You know, the positive affirmations and things like that, but if you think common sense, we'll take a common sense approach to this. Common sense is what you're filtering into your mind is going to have an effect on your mood and your emotions and ultimately overall your behavior. Belief systems, all of that. And so to think that if we're watching news, whether it's CNN, Fox, any of that, or even your local news, to think that dramatized propaganda bullcrap isn't going to negatively influence you is complete bullshit, for lack of better terms. And so taking control, feeding something positive within your mind, just do that. Do that for 1 week. Do that for 1 week and see how you feel. And the second tip is, just to make you have a better overall flow throughout the day, is as soon as you wake up, write down 5 things that you're grateful for. These are some things that I implement into the Kingsman Academy with the brothers that we have in there, and they have profound effects on me. They have profound effects on me. Things that I never used to do, things I thought it was, this personal development stuff was so woo-woo, so just for people that had completely lost their lives, and it's not for everybody. Now, these small, simple habits can have a profound effect on you. And the overall thing I want to get across in this process of not being able to fall asleep is not only just, feed your mind, filter what goes through there, something positive to retrain your subconscious, to wake up more enthusiastic, to wake up with a better mood, to reduce the stress on you, is the realization that if we can't stop those thoughts going through our head, is we're entrapped and enslaved to our impulsive mind. Meaning we have absolutely no space between these thoughts that we think we are these thoughts and that we're creating them, and we have to stay with them wherever they go. The ability to take a step back, create what I call space, and be the seat of your consciousness and observing these thoughts, letting them flow, just go through you, but never latching onto them, is the ability to master your mind. And that's something that I'm always trying to achieve, always trying to train on, because when you get in that state, your life completely changes. Because you can be in that situation, you're feeling a little bit stressed, feeling a little bit anxiety, feeling a little bit overwhelmed, but you catch that quickly. And it's like, okay, I'm generating some false thoughts, false beliefs, that I'm in control of these images that I'm playing through my head. Let me redirect them and recreate them to positively impact my life. That's the ability to master your mind. And that's what we're after. So next time, when you're laying there, feeling stressed, realize you're creating that stress. When you're laying there feeling overwhelmed, realize that you're creating that overwhelm. When you're laying there and you're feeling those high senses of obligation, responsibility, realize that you're creating those. And you can just as easily switch, redirect, and create feelings of joy, enthusiasm, gratefulness, happiness, because we ultimately generate our stress, our overwhelm, and or our joy and happiness. We get to choose.